Especially in the Midwest, anytime we can get away from the cold, it is a great idea. And a cruise vacation could be your next perfect getaway. Editor in chief of Cruise Critic, travel expert Colleen McDaniel here to chat all about it. Thank you so much for your time today.
Oh, thanks so much for having me, Rudy.
As I said, that moment we get that first leaves that start to turn, the first report of snow on the news, it's like we got to look for somewhere warm in our next family vacation. And, going on a cruise could be it.
Absolutely. And the fall and winter are great times to cruise, in part because there are fewer crowds in the most popular destinations. So you have easiest access to sites, to experiences, and it's better than it would be during the regular peak season. Off-season also tends to offer lower cruise fares. For example, Norwegian Cruise Line is currently offering 70% off a second guest on all cruises. And this is combinable with its More at Sea promotion, which includes unlimited open bar, specialty dining, Wi-Fi, and more. Cruising is my favorite vacation type because it offers stress-free flexibility. You can visit multiple destinations, hit the racetrack, try the spa, and you unpack only once.
I really want to talk a little bit about, especially as we get into the fall and into the winter, and especially you want to go with your families. I think kind of it's more independent than the summertime, but you've got elderly, your parents or your grandparents who maybe can't move around as much. And you have younger kids who want to maybe spend time at the pool, and this is kind of a great way to put everybody together because you may not be able to agree on other destinations, but everybody can find something to do, on the boat.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned it. You really hit the nail on the head that it is a great value for families. And with more inclusive pricing than similar land-based vacation, cruising remains the best value for your vacation dollar. Your cruise will include things like great dining, world-class entertainment, and activities all day and into the night. Plus, cruising offers staterooms across a wide variety of budgets. So parents might be able to pick a cabin for them and their kids, or maybe even a joining cabin. And the grandparents might choose a suite or a room in a suite complex like Norwegian Cruise Line's The Haven, which offers exclusive spaces and perks.
Yeah, that's all sounds so amazing, and especially you can have that family time together, but then also do your own thing, which kind of leaves a little bit of flexibility, which I think a lot of people enjoy, especially on their holiday vacations.
Yeah, absolutely. And you talk about fall and winter being a great time for people in those cold weather destinations to get away, but it's also a great time to get away right before those busy end of year activities.
Yeah.
And this off season, you should look to heat things up in places like the Mexican Riviera, the Bahamas, and the Caribbean.
Yeah, I was about to ask you that as far as, maybe a couple of domestic locations that we can chat about and maybe some international ones.
Yeah, great. So I talked about the Mexican Riviera, and this is a great spot for people from the West Coast to cruise to. It includes stops in places like Puerto Vallarta and Cabo San Lucas. And cruises to the Caribbean and the Bahamas leave from home ports throughout Florida, as well as New Orleans and Galveston. And one of the things I love about those Caribbean and Bahamas itineraries is that they often include stops at private islands. For example, Norwegian Cruise Line is offering some itineraries that visit Great Stirrup Cay, its private island. And Great Stirrup Cay is set to debut a slew of new features, including a 1.4-acre pool area that includes a heated pool, swim-up bars, a splash zone for kids, and more.
Okay, we need to take a moment to talk about Great Stirrup Cay because my last family vacation, we've gone on several and have made that stop there, and that is the one destination. People love everything on the boat, but people love being able to go there and kind of have that experience. So that is definitely a highlight. If you book one of these cruises, this is definitely one of the highlights of the vacation, whether you anticipate it or you're going to be surprised by it. This is definitely a complete highlight.
Completely. And it's almost a little bit more of an extension of what you get on board the ship, right? Your beverage package that you paid for on the ship, it's going to work at Great Stirrup Cay, and you can just have a great beach day.
Oh, exactly. Let's talk a little bit about, the best times to book. What are we looking at as far as, last minute things, how many months out? Like, what's the best time for families to go ahead and start doing that?
Right now is perfect to book some of those fall and winter cruises. We're seeing these great deals. And I don't expect that pricing is going to continue to fall. It's going to continue to go up. So it's a perfect time to be looking for those itineraries. And you can even look into early next year and get some great deals.
let's talk a little bit about the lengths of people who haven't been on a cruise before, because you can do some shorter ones, some longer ones. So depending on the time off you have from work, kids have off from school, you can play around with some of those dates. But talk a little bit about some of those offerings.
Sure. I mean, you can find cruises from 3 nights all the way to 2 weeks, which is terrific. Maybe if you're really prepping for that end of the year, you want a couple of weeks. But what's great about cruising is often you can find those cruises that really just go over the weekend. So if you want to dip your toe into it, a 3-day cruise might be perfect for you. And you don't have to take a ton of time off from work. And with so many home ports that are drivable from so much of the country, there are a lot of great options.
Yeah, I mean, especially talking about some of the places, and I know it's New York and Miami and Galveston and anywhere else in the U.S. that we can. Is there a port?
Yeah, so Florida tends to be the cruise capital of the world, and Chicago area, of course, you've got O'Hare there, so you can get nonstop flights to virtually any of these great cruise ports.
Yeah, and New York is also a great one too to leave from as well too. That's a quick flight from Chicago and some other destinations, but that's fun as well too. Well, Colleen, thank you so much for your time today. Definitely go check them out, ncl.com, for all the latest deals, and especially as you're planning your fall and winter holidays. And this could be the great thing that everybody, grandparents, parents, kids, everybody gets to celebrate and enjoy together.